What's up, everybody? Rick here, and today we continue our week of E3 predictions. Today we are doing EA and Bethesda. So, like we did with the previous video where we went over a PC gaming show, kind of funny showcase, VR showcase, and the Devolver Digital press conference, this time we will once again, for Bethesda, look to what they did last year as an indication of what we might get to see this year. And also I'm going to talk a bit about like what I personally expect or want out of these two events. We're going to start with EA, the black sheep of the bunch. EA is not doing a press conference this year. They're only doing EA Play, and they're going to live stream part of EA Play on Saturday. So that's going to be our date, June 8th, Saturday at 9:15. That's when the live stream starts. They gave schedule for that live stream, which we're going to go over in a little bit. But first, I want to talk about that decision not to do a press conference. Year after year, we got to admit it to ourselves. EA is one of the weakest press conference. It's not necessarily always their fault. It's because they have so many pieces to play with, like a sports game, dice games, Sims, Plant vs Zombies, etc. It goes on and on and on. BioWare, and so like they have a little bit of something for everyone, but also a lot of stuff that not everyone will care about. Sports fans won't necessarily care about the latest updates for the Sims. Sims fans don't necessarily care about what's happening with Battlefield, and so it's always hard for EA to get everyone together to agree that their conference was the better one of that year, because there's just a bunch of stuff within it that you don't care about, you know? And so I think that doing it the way that they're doing it, with the schedule telling you exactly at what time you can expect to see what, then you don't have to sit there and watch FIFA. If you don't care about FIFA, you can just tune in for Star Wars and just tune out and then come back when they talk about Battlefield or something else that you're interested in, which in a sense it's a good idea. Though I will miss the hype of the press conference, because the press conference is always hype. And we should have seen that coming. The past few years, they've been putting more and more of an emphasis on EA Play. I remember 2 years ago, was it, when they did that big push after the Battlefield 5 reveal, when they had a bunch of celebrities. Oh no, it was for Battlefield 1. They have a bunch of celebrities playing Battlefield 1. And then they did it again for Battlefront 2, but this time with, I think, streamers and just regular players playing Battlefront 2 live for like 30 minutes straight. So they've been pushing more and more towards that more of a EA Play style of show rather than just a regular press conference. But now we've been talking about that schedule. Let's look at the schedule a little bit, see what we can expect. I'm not going to go over last year's EA press conference, because this year they don't have a press conference. So there's really no sense in comparing the two of them. I'm just going to go over the schedule that they themselves have announced, with a list of the things that we're going to see there. So 9:15, countdown to EA Play. So it's just the beginning, just the countdown, get some hype going. Maybe they'll have something, kind of a pre-show, presenting some, like, they usually have one indie game that's focused on during their press conference. We all remember Way Out or Sea of Solitude. So this might be a place to talk about that indie game, or maybe they're just like, it's just a countdown, like it says, countdown to EA Play. 9:30, what we're all excited for, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The big reveal, gameplay reveal. We've already seen the trailer at Star Wars Celebration, but now we're going to see what the game actually looks like when you're playing, and this is what I'm personally the most excited about. It's going to be hosted by Greg Miller and Andrea Renner. They've put host for all of these, so I'm going to also tell you what the hosts are. At 10 a.m. Pacific time, these are all Pacific time, Apex Legend. We'll get details on Season 2 of Apex Legend. The game has been slowing down a little bit. People have been saying like maybe they waited a bit too long to present the second Battle Pass, but we're going to see that coming with Season 2 of Apex Legend. Details on that. Hosted by Alex Mendez. 10:30, Battlefield 5 event. Now, Battlefield 5, I don't know. I feel like the game hasn't been that much of the success that EA wanted it to be. And especially right now, there's been some controversial decision to remove Frontline and Domination from the game modes. So people are already kind of angry. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Battlefield 5, what they're going to show. This is going to be hosted by Julia Hardy and Adam Freeman. So at 11, FIFA 20. This one also hosted by Alex Mendez. So this is what I was talking about. You know, if you're not interested by the sports game, then you can just skip the FIFA part. Or if you're actually interested in FIFA but not the other ones, you can come in at 11 a.m. Pacific time to see FIFA. I wonder if they'll talk about the journey, the following to the story of Alex Hunter, or are they gonna drop that whole initiative? I feel like it was fairly popular, so I'm sure the Journey Part 3 is gonna be a part of it. 11:30, a second sport game, Madden NFL 20. So here, as with FIFA, they have this new storyline now called Long Shot for Madden, and I wonder if we're gonna get a part 2 for Long Shot. And these are actually the part that interests me the most out of these sports games, because all in all, they're kind of similar year to year, but when you add that kind of campaign with a storyline, then you make it really different every year. This is hosted by Adam Rank. And at 12 p.m., the last thing on the schedule here is The Sims 4, hosted by Andrea Rene. So I don't know if The Sims 4 is just going to be some update about The Sims, like some new expansion or some new console that is coming on. I don't think it's on Switch yet, so maybe they could bring it to Switch. Or maybe Pie in the Sky. Are they going to tease something for the next Sims game? I'd be really excited about that, actually. It's interesting to note that they have hosts for all of these, so there's no talk of Andrew Wilson appearing in any of these. Last year, Andrew Arene was also the host, so they're keeping on with that trend of getting rid of the execs and just having a host present the show for them, a bit like Ubisoft did for a while. Now, this is what we know will be at the show, but let's talk a little bit about what I wish and what I predict might come to the show. So, first of all, what I wish I was for Star Wars to be like to blow my socks off. You know, the trailer didn't really grab me, so I'm still waiting for that spark that will make me think, oh, I need to have this game, you know. And so hasn't happened yet, but I'm keeping my hopes up. Like I just said, I would really hope for a new Sims game. They have the Sims 4 on the schedule, and I'm hoping like they wouldn't put the Sims here if there wasn't something big related to it. Other than that, really, I want them to talk about something that is not written there. The fact that they have this schedule written out kind of takes out the surprise element out of E3, which is the best part, the surprise, the games that you don't know are going to be there and end up being there. But now that I've seen the schedule, I know everything that's going to be there. I want a surprise. Is it going to be Dragon Age 4? They've shown a trailer for that. Or maybe something new from DICE. We don't know like if they're doing a new Battlefront this year to go with the new Star Wars that's coming out. Or just anything else really. BioWare, interesting to note, BioWare and Anthem are not on the list. So does that mean that EA has kind of abandoned Anthem after the rocky start? Or are they just working on their new updates and expansions, and we're gonna see Anthem later on during the year, maybe at Gamescom? I don't know. But for now, this is what we have on EA. Not a lot of information because there's not a lot of games listed, and yet the most information out of any of these conferences, because they told us everything that's gonna happen. It's not a conference. But yeah, you see what I mean? They told us everything that's gonna happen. They told us all the games and who host the panels. So looking forward to it, but also a bit skeptical that we'll get any surprise, which is what I want the most out of these kind of show. Next, we're going to go with Bethesda. So Bethesda will have, once again, a press conference. This one is happening on June 9th, 5 p.m. Pacific time. So for Bethesda, we'll go over last year and what they showed, because actually it gives us a lot of information about what they're going to show this year, or what they could show this year rather, because only one game has been confirmed to come this year. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. First of all, last year Bethesda's conference, man, a lot of patting in the back, a lot of aren't we great people? We're the top publisher on Metacritic, we're the top MMO, top mobile games, and a lot of like pause for applause. I've watched the conference again recently, and I was like, oh my god, they really love themselves. But I mean, hey, if you're good, why not say it? First of all, what they had last year, Rage 2, which just came out to okay but not amazing reviews. Are they going to talk about Rage 2, some expansion or any updates that they could bring to the game? So this is a possibility. After Rage 2 last year, they talked about Elder Scrolls Legend, which was announced for consoles, and Elder Scrolls Online. So these are like kind of evergreen game. I expect them to give some kind of updates to both of them because they're still pretty big at the time. The big one, the only one that's been confirmed to be at the show this year, Doom Eternal, and it was at the Stadia GDC event too, so maybe we'll hear something about Stadia from Bethesda, like and directly. That would be interesting. Prey, they had the update for Prey at E3 last year. They announced the update for Prey, but I don't think they'll talk about anything Prey related if that's not a sequel. If they talk about a sequel, then we might see Prey at the show. Wolfenstein Youngblood coming out July 26th. It was announced last year. Coming out for PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch. I expect some update. It's coming out in July. Pretty close. It's the perfect time to give some marketing boost to the game just before it comes out. VR. Every year they have a focus on some VR games. I remember when they did the Fallout VR and then Doom VR. Last year they presented the Wolfenstein VR, Cyber Pilot, which is not out yet, also coming out on July 26th. So just like with Youngblood, this is a perfect occasion to talk about it. Last year they also had that Prey VR mode. Fallout 76, they presented that game last year. It was their big game, centerpiece of the show. Thought I would talk about it for a long time. Everyone was hyped, everyone was excited, and then the game came out. We all know how that went, and no matter what you think about like the quality of the game, if you liked it or not, I'm sure it was not the launch that Bethesda was wishing for. So are they gonna come and talk about the issue that some people had with the game, or just not address those and present some kind of update or expansion to make the game better, or just not talk about Fallout 76 at all and push it under the rug? I'd be surprised to see what they do in that occasion. I think they're going to talk about it. I think it's one of their big games. They want to keep supporting it for a while longer. Fallout Shelter was then announced to come to console, but I don't think they'll talk about Fallout Shelter this year. Elder Scrolls Blade, on the other hand, their other mobile game, I'm sure they're going to talk about because it's not out yet, and so they might give some kind of update to that. And then this pains my heart. The two biggest games that they announced last year, Starfield and The Elder Scrolls 6, will not be at the show. Tara were already confirmed that both of those will not be present and that we should all be patient. And I agree, we should be patient. He said those are next gen games, so I don't expect them to come out anytime soon. But I would have liked to see anything from it. At least Starfield, you know? So this is what happened last year. We saw through this rundown that some of those games we can expect. But what else can we expect at this year's Bethesda conference? The first two are Wolfenstein 3 and The Evil Within 3. Are we going to see those two games? I'd be very interested to see at least The Evil Within 3. I think Wolfenstein is a bit more icky because they already have a Wolfenstein coming out with Youngblood. So they might wait for next year or later in the year to announce if they are doing Wolfenstein 3. But The Evil Within, I think it's a perfect time to announce a sequel. Even if it's not coming out this year, if it's coming out next year, you can just tease it right now. Now, we talked about Prey earlier and how there probably won't be a new update for the first Prey talked about during this show, but there might be a Prey 2 announcement. Prey came out in 2017, so it's been a while. I don't expect it to come out so soon, but to be announced, I wouldn't be surprised. They announced Doom Eternal just 2 years after Doom 2016 came out, so that wouldn't be out of the ordinary. And just like Prey, Dishonored has been out for a while, so we might get some information on a sequel to Dishonored. That'd be great. But what I want more than anything is a surprise. We have all of these games that I talked about, but I want them to surprise me with a game that I can't think about or a new IP, you know, something that makes me go like, wow, I never expected that to be back from Bethesda's old lineup, or just a brand new IP, because I always love surprise, like I said earlier. So this was it for our rundown and predictions of what we might see from Bethesda and EA at E3 2019. Next time we're going to do Microsoft, and I think this is going to be probably the most interesting one because we might get some console announcement. See you there.